Welcome to AdHitProfits. My name is Charles Scoville, the owner of AdHitProfits, and what you're seeing right now is that the website is in maintenance. So to answer your first question, are you planning to come back? And the answer is absolutely yes. Monday, September 15th, 2014. And I'm going to tell you here in just a little bit why it's going to be so important for you to make sure to log in that day and click your ads so that you can make sure to maximize your earnings as much as possible. So first, let me go over some information on exactly what's going on for you. Earlier this morning, I saw messages like this coming in to me asking me what's going on. This is what the website looked like when it was coming up. And what this basically meant for some people is they thought that maybe we were having some kind of an attack, but we weren't actually having an attack. What it basically is showing here is that the site was unable to connect with the database. And you can see here someone also posted on my Facebook wall asking me what's going on, and I responded saying the server is offline for some reason. I'm trying to reach the host for resolution currently. And so I was able to get some information, and I made that information available as quickly as I possibly could, also in Moneymaker group, as well as all of the different Skype groups that we have set up and Facebook groups. I try to get that out to as many people as possible. So basically, the explanation of what happened is that this morning the server hard drive started to have several errors, as you were able to see in the screenshot there. Now, it was rebooted, and things simply just didn't return back to normal. Now, that's when the host went in to figure out what's going on, and they discovered that the hard drive had actually failed. So they were like, uh-oh, it failed. Let's see what we can do, and they tried to recover it the best as they possibly could. They simply couldn't. Now the good news is we have a backup copy, and the backup copy is going to be on the server a few days ago. Now when we get everything set up and reinstalled and everything, we're actually going to have a new server with 2 different drives to help make sure that this doesn't happen again in the future. Because we know that when people experience something like this, they can be worried whether it would happen again, and this is something that we've learned from, and we're making sure to take necessary precautions going forward to ensure that it doesn't happen again. Now, some people have been asking questions like, what about the earnings on our accounts since the backup period? There's going to be a gap of time. What's going to happen with all that? Well, the good news is we do have all the payment receipts inside of the payment processors of all the services that have been purchased. And so what we'll be able to do is reprocess all of those and make sure that everyone gets their commissions and the shared revenues. Now, this is why it's so important that you log in on Monday to make sure to click your ads, because what that means is that if you click on Monday, that means that when you see that big jump of revenues, that's going to come from days worth of revenue. So you're going to want to make sure that you log in on Monday, click your ads, and be able to share in that. Because we do have those purchase records, and we're just going to be able to reshare those revenues. But the real thing that I have to really tell you is there's really no way for us to know who it was that clicked during those days and who received any revenue during those days between when the backup is going to be restored to that point and then when it actually is today's date. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you get in there and click your 25 ads, or if you're VIP, click your 10 ads and make sure that you get your sharing of the revenues. Now, one additional thing to think about is if you've paid for any advertising campaigns and your credits were already used up, there's not a way for us to know how many credits were used up. So you're going to get them all back. All of your advertising credits are going to come back. Now, there's been some people who have said, I don't really believe that this is going on. Well, here's our Snork hosting, and you can see that my first thing that I contacted was, hey, I'm unable to access the WHM. I'm unable to access cPanel. There's multiple errors. Can you please check and see what's going on? And they looked into it and they said they checked the server. It's online, but it seems like there's a lot of disk errors coming in, and they're going to try to reboot the server and then stand by for further updates. They also, I mentioned, hey, I'm really scared. Was there any data lost? You know, that's my first concern that came to my mind. And they said that it looks like the hard drive may be failing on the server, and as the server stopped reading the read-write data on the disk, they have rebooted the server to see if the system will automatically correct the disk, but the server is not coming back up now. And so they've plugged it into a crash cart to the servers just to see exactly what's going on, and that's when all of this news is going on, and they're going to be, like I said, setting up the RAID 1 system on the server with 2 drives. I also was asking them, there's got to be a way to restore the data. You know, there's thousands of people that are counting on this. And that's when they started to explain all of the different things about this and how it really wasn't something that was very possible, but that they've gone ahead and reinstalled the site and set up the backup here. So that's something that's absolutely true. Now, there's been some people who say, how in the world can we possibly deal with this? We have just heard from you that Easy Bonds has reversed their transactions, and that reversed some earnings from our accounts. Well, you can see that right on the Easy Bonds login page. They're trying to, of course, ruin AdHitProfits' reputation as well as my own by making some false accusations. And if you take a look at the Easy Bonds Review YouTube channel, you can see a lot of information about this. I know that the owner of Easy Bonds is really not very happy with AdHitProfits right now because I've exposed to the world that he's a criminal, including a lot about his background that he did not want people to know. He really wanted to be able to operate Easy Bonds without people knowing who he was and his criminal background and his history and being bankrupt and all kinds of things, even recently, just a number of different contraventions and breaking the law that he's been in court over and things like that. So he didn't want to have any of that. Sometimes people think that various different attacks come as retribution or retaliation, and that's one of the things that some people thought is, hey, that now that the website is having all these errors, was it Easy Bonds that was kind of giving us some kind of retaliation? And no, they've not made any kind of attack that I'm aware of. If they have, it's been definitely blocked. But what's going on today with all of this is certainly not any sort of attack at all. It is that the hard drive has failed. And so that's really all that's going on. Now, there's also some people who say, well, this is really hard to believe since last year with Solid Trust Pay, there was some fraudulent payments that came in, and you had to reverse those too. Well, for those who might have a hard time believing, they took a look at the problem here, and Solid Trust Pay has, quite honestly, one of the most secure systems I have ever seen. And there's been some people who say, well, how could you possibly say that? And I'm just speaking from experience as an admin. So I see transactions coming in through all kinds of different payment processors. Solid Trust Pay, quite honestly, has the most security I've ever experienced on the back end. So if you're concerned about using Solid Trust Pay because of what I'm about to share with you, I just want to tell you right up front that they have been absolutely wonderful through this whole entire process way back then. Since then, they have been completely outstanding. I've been able to build a wonderful relationship with them, and furthermore, their systems are tight. I mean, there is just so much security that's involved with Solid Trust Pay. I don't want to expose a lot of the information that I know and have experienced firsthand, but I do know that they have systems and people on the back end that are absolutely fantastic. So you can absolutely trust them as a payment processor. Now, I discovered that there was an issue going on, and that was first on the 20th of July. Now, Sunday, July 21st, the nice thing is, like what I said here in this little message here, this was on the 20th, is it just happened to be when I was at my computer when they did it. The first time they actually attacked our website with these huge amounts of fraudulent payments was Saturday, July 20th, 2013. And this is when I was able to gain contact with a Solid Trust Pay account manager who I've been able to maintain a pretty good relationship with ever since. Now, it happened again Sunday morning. This time I was not at my computer. You can see the timestamp was at 8:15 in the morning. My time, on the server time, it was 10:15. So it happened just a little bit after the server time 9:30. I forget exactly what the transaction time was, but I know it was after the half an hour, and we share revenues every half an hour. So at 10 o'clock, I was getting a phone call from Ernie, who was one of the support people and also a moderator on Skype, who said, Charles, you got to see what's going on. There's a problem. People are withdrawing money like crazy. There seems to be a glitch. There seems to be a problem. You got to check it out. So I got on here and I just checked in with Solid Trust Pay and said, hey, look, it happened again. My business is now ruined. And he's taking a look and he says, one moment. And I said, unless this is real, because people started cashing out like crazy, emptying out my other processors. Is this possible? The purchases are real? And of course, he says, no. One moment. So all of this is going on. I'm showing him a screenshot of this other payment processor, Payza, that had money in it, but now it's showing a zero balance. And that's what the image was. And it was just really, really scary for me. I mean, this is not an easy situation for any owner to be in. Payza, is it reversible? Yes, I'll take a look into it. All of this, I mean, this is real proof that this really happened. And I remember at the time expressing to them that people aren't going to believe what I'm saying. And they said that if you have your customers call in and ask support, they will confirm that this really has happened. So they went ahead and reversed all the transactions and made sure to get it reversed completely. And they helped give me some information on helping make sure that it doesn't happen again. And there's all kinds of things going on here. And they said they're not doing this with any intent to get away with this ludicrous amounts of money. They were just doing it to be bastards, is what Solid Trust Pay said. They were just trying to be mean to my website, is basically all that it was. And just to confirm for you, I'm going to see if I can pull up the exact amount of what it was that was there was transactions. And you can see that because of those transactions, there's like 77,000 payouts just in a short amount of time. So they were coming back to me. Just taking a look here. But it ended up confirming that there were over $70,000 or $70 million in transactions, something crazy like that came in. Real funds. So this is the things. 70,107,532. This was a real dollar amount that came through my Solid Trust Pay account, which shared across all of the account holders' revenue share positions within AdHitProfits. Okay. So this was a real dollar amount that was showing in my account as being a real transaction that came in. Now, those had to be reversed. And so as we started looking through all these different things, it came in an amount that was shared, and we were talking about how we're going to get this resolved. It came to about an average of about $17 per revenue share position. But the real problem that we had was we didn't know what the revenue share positions were before. Some people might have been at a zero amount on their revenue share, so that would have been easy to just reverse that amount. But there's some that were close to their maximum at varied dollared amounts. So with this amount added to it, it would have maxed it out, which would have then shared more with the other revenue shares and all kinds of different things going in there. So it made it impossible to know what exactly the amount was. There's a huge problem with figuring it out. And I said many people do not believe this is possible. Some saying, I've never heard of Solid Trust Pay being hacked. Others saying, there's a $9.99 limit. There's no way this guy is telling us the truth. And then he's like, well, let's work on the public relations later. Let's go through and see if we can get this fixed. So everything is absolutely legitimate. I mean, I don't know how else to say that. I know it's hard for many people to trust an admin, an owner, but the fact is, with AdHitProfits, we have really faced a lot of challenges ever since we launched. We had people in forums right from the very first day saying negative things about us, and telling people that we're going to go scam any minute. So I think that there's always been kind of a force out there trying to convince people that we are a scam. And that's where we get the easy bonds, this whole situation. They're just trying to stir stuff up, piggybacking on a FUD campaign that was launched last July. And so it's something that I really want to point out for you, that AdHitProfits is truly a legitimate business. We're honest. We provide a real service. Whatever you select as your service and make a purchase of that service, you're going to receive that service. And as you have earnings on your account, you're going to be able to withdraw those earnings without a problem. And that's always been our guarantee, and that's always what we stand behind. And that's, I think, that one of the things that people start to say is, wow, Charles Scoville is a trusted owner. He is trusted. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that have really tried to ruin my reputation by making attacks on the website that have made it very difficult for us to bounce back, stand back up. But there's this saying from Rocky, what is it, 5 or something, that says it's not about how hard you can get hit, or it's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and still move forward, to get back up and keep moving forward. And that's what it's all about here with AdHitProfits, is we've had some challenges, we've faced some discouragement, but this is our passion. This is definitely my passion, is providing some true value. These services hold true value and have really helped people increase their income online. So give it a couple of days. Monday, we're going to be back online, and we're going to have everything back as close to as it possibly can as possible, and then we'll just move forward from there. And we've got the safety nets in place to help ensure that this doesn't happen again. So thanks for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.